Okay, here's what we got, guys. Up here, first of all, the first typhoon has made landfall, and the other one that went around Taiwan cut right back through Taiwan, and is still a tropical storm at this point, and it's basically following the same track as the last tropical storm. So hopefully it'll fall apart before it actually makes landfall again. There's quite a bit of rain going on in this area right now. South Korea, China, that whole area down in there. And back behind it, as of right now, everything looks decent, looks okay. Perhaps, maybe, we'll finally be done with the typhoons for a little while at least, hopefully for the end of the season. Over here, we got Isaac, Hurricane Isaac now, making landfall basically as we speak, and it's coming right into Louisiana. And from here, it should go north, northwestward, and then eventually north, and then northeastward, and on out of here. Probably cutting through Missouri, Illinois, and on up. But I don't know if it'll have any strength to it as it moves north. I don't know if it'll be able to pull any moisture with it. Hopefully it does, because we really need the moisture in the central United States, and that's exactly where Isaac's headed to. Interesting enough, it didn't become a very powerful hurricane. It's just mainly a rain event, and around the eye, Louisiana, Mississippi, maybe some wind damage, power outages, that sort of thing, but mainly just a rain event. Now back behind it, coming off of Africa and getting ready to turn the limb, is another system that we need to be keeping an eye on. I don't know if it's going to be able to strengthen itself or become a hurricane at this point, or a tropical depression, that is, and then a tropical storm. Right now it's just a disturbance out in the Atlantic Ocean. But it's in an area, guys, that does have the ability to strengthen it. So we'll just keep an eye on it and see what it's going to do. Hopefully it won't turn into a hurricane, because I think as it's going to be a pretty bad fall, winter, from the looks of things, as things are starting to take on their new patterns. Been a very odd situation going on off the west coast. Not really going to get into it. Just strange water currents, water temperatures, strange, what do you call it, high pressure system. It's basically been parked there. And we do have a tropical storm down here in the Pacific Ocean, but majority of these storms, guys, that come out off of Mexico, usually just either they head westward and eventually fade out before they make it to Hawaii, or they head in a northwestward direction and sometimes a northeasterly direction toward the United States. But usually, most of the time, they do not make any kind of landfall. Mainly the main concern is the small islands, such as the one that is crossing over right here, right where the mouse is. There's a little island there. I don't know if you can see it in the video or not. And then there's an island up here. Other than that, these hurricanes that come off of Mexico, off of the jet stream down here around the equator, really don't have too much of an effect on anything. Nevertheless, we'll keep an eye on it and make sure it don't get crazy and do crazy things, but it shouldn't. So there's your weather update. Let's quickly take a look at the earthquakes. Okay, here we're basically looking at about the last 18 hours, and as you can see, guys, there's really been no activity as far as above a 5.0. I mean, you've had that 5.7 in near Central America there, and that 5.0, and you had the 5.0 in the Baja of California there, and a couple of 5s in Indonesia and such. But really and truly, guys, the activity has dramatically fallen since that 7 point. Let's see if we can get that 7.3 back up here. Here's the 7.3, and basically everything's really calmed down, which is not a good sign. I know people, they think, well, that's wonderful, it's calming down, and it is. It's good that it is calming down, but usually when it calms down, we get a pretty good snap somewhere on this planet. When I say pretty good snap, I'm talking 7, like this one right here, the 7.3, 7 and on up. So be on the lookout, guys, over the next several weeks. Just strange things going on in the ocean, in the Pacific Ocean, and a lot of tension going on between Southern California, Central America, and basically Puerto Rico area. let's look in here. I want to show you guys something real quickly. There's been quite a bit of swarming going on in Baja California, right there in Southern California, and also a little bit to the north of Southern California, more like Central California, but on the eastern side of it. And I'll show you that here in just a minute. Also, you have a swarm going on here, and you've got a pretty good swarm going on here. So let's just take a look real quick. These swarms are very, very low numbers, but also when these 3 5.0 struck in Southern California here, there was a continual series, pretty much exactly what happened in Japan, a continual series of small earthquakes, what we call a swarm, where you get a whole bunch of them rapidly, and then it leads to a large earthquake of some kind. 5.0 to me is not very large, but let's just take a look. Okay, you guys remember the swarm that came over California? Right there it is. Okay, right there, that column there. But you also got this column here, right here, all the way down. And when you get in here, you'll see where that's at. So you got this swarm here, and then you've got a swarm. Here's the valley, right in through here, and here's another swarm, and here's another swarm. Now this area here has got volcanoes in the area. Also, I want you to know that the San Andreas, it goes exactly right through here, and on through here, and then I think it goes all the way up to the mountain area and then cuts across back to the border here. Okay, so you've got a swarm going here, a swarm going here, a big swarm going here, a swarm going here, and you've got a huge swarm going on in Central America there. And I've got the rings turned down as low as I can get them turned down. That way, you know, it ain't taking up so much room on the map. As far as the forgot what it's called. Anyway, the U shape right here, you know, that comes down through here. You've got a 2.4 on it, a 1.5 on the Madrid, and this is just looking basically at the last 26 hours. 2.3 in Arkansas and a 2.8. So that's on the I want to call futon. I don't know why, but that's not what it's called. Okay, here's the other swarm that I was going to talk about here. And you can see it's a pretty good sized swarm, and it's a lot of 2s and 3s, but there's some 4s in there as well, and that's what's got me a little bit concerned at this point, is those 4s showing up in there. Here's a 3. I mean, if you just take a quick look down this thing, you've got 2, then there's a 3, 2, 3, 2, 3, 2, 2, 3, 2, 2, 3, 2, 2, 3, 2, 2, 2, 2, 3. And you just go on through it. 2, 2, 2, 2, 2, 2, 2, 2, 2, 3, 2, 2, 2, 2, 2, 2, 3, 3, 3, 3, 3, 2, 2, 2, 4. And there's one. That's one of those 4s I was talking about. Thought there was 2 4.0 pluses in there, but I guess not. Anyway, that's right there, specifically in the water. But a pretty good sized swarm. So heads up if you live in that area. Heads up if you live in Central America, South America, North America, anywhere around the entire Pacific. And yeah, there's a swarm going on in the Hawaiian Islands, but usually, guys, they get in swarms all the time anyway. A lot of lava movement going on in Hawaii. So, but overall, guys, the pattern here over the last 24 hours, get rid of all these 2s and 3s, so all we can basically see is the 4s, and that looks like it will do it right there. Well, no, I got 3.9 on right there. Let me bump that until that disappears. I mean, looking at it overall, guys, there's really very little activity. This is showing 4 and above around the planet, but all the tension seems to be literally on the San Andreas, Central America, and the Puerto Rico area, and as well as South America, basically from Northern California down to Peru or so, actually down to Chile. I don't know, it's just basically from Northern California somewhere down in here. I don't know, probably about where that 4.8 is, but that seems to be where the bulk of the tension is at right now. And I don't know why. I mean, it could have something to do with, you know, the extreme ice melt coming down and around and trying to push through, or it could be the ice melt coming around through Alaska along the border trying to get through over here, and the extra weight's really causing issues. I don't know, but I do know that at this point it has gotten significantly quiet. If we get rid of the fours, let's get rid of all the fours. 4.9, okay, right there. Now this is just showing the fives. Like I said, guys, in the last 24 hours, these are all low fives. 5.2, 5.0. Okay, other than the 5.7 and 7.3. Okay, you're looking at 5.1, 5.0, 5.0, 5.2, 5.4, 5.0, 5.3, 5.0, 5.3, 5.4, 5.0. So you're looking at 5.4 and below. And for those of you that have watched some of my videos, you know that the pattern is when you get down at 5.4 and below for an extended period of time, usually we end up in a significant activity and high magnitude activity. So just be alert anywhere on the planet right now, mainly around the Ring of Fire, that is the entire anything touching the Pacific Ocean, and as well as the Puerto Rico Dominican Republic area where Isaac passed through earlier. And just, you know, heads up, guys, usually when it gets quiet like this, it's really not a good sign. Everybody takes it as a good sign, but usually it's really not a good sign. And I say usually because sometimes it is. Sometimes it stays quiet and then it just gradually builds back up, but that's rare, very rare nowadays. I mean, it used to be somewhat common, but it's basically completely rare nowadays. So fairly quiet days, guys, over the last 24 hours. It's been fairly quiet. Other than that 7.3, which was just slightly over 24 hours ago, it's been really quiet, guys. So just heads up. I love you guys. Get in the Word, stay in the Word, and get the Word in you. The most important part, guys, of all of it, between getting in the Word, staying in the Word, and getting the Word in you, is getting the Word in you. Okay, the Holy Spirit is what you need. That's what you got to have. That's where the power of God is. That's where guidance is. That's where comfort is. All the things that you need is in the Word. And He sits at the right hand of the Father, but He sent His Spirit to dwell in you and to guide you and to help you and to show you the way. But you need to get into the Word, because the Holy Spirit uses the Word to teach you, and you need to stay in the Word so that you can get your mind renewed to the truth of things, rather than what the world has taught you, or what YouTube has taught you, or what your family has taught you, or what your neighbors have taught you, or what your friends have taught you, or what your church has taught you, or what your government has taught you, or what your religion has taught you, or whatever. You need to get back to the simple truth of what is the truth according to Father, who controls this planet, who's the ultimate authority of this planet, and who makes every decision based on what we are doing down here, basically, because He wants to make sure that we all get saved and that we all enter, you know, that we all come to salvation. That's His ultimate goal. As I've said, guys, there's two resurrections. The most wicked people to ever live on this planet, I don't care if you're talking about Hitler or mass murder or whoever, they are coming back alive at some point, and they get a second chance. He doesn't want anybody to perish, guys. What's going on the planet with your sinkholes and meteorites and your earthquakes and these crazy typhoons, I mean, just absolutely amazing to me. These typhoons this year was just one after, I mean, just unbelievable what was going on the western side of the Pacific. I mean, it's just mind-blowing to me. It is just absolutely mind-blowing. But you know, with the weather patterns, the shifts in the ice, the you know, you got lava rocks coming up from the bottom of the ocean and floating on the surface, diverting ships, including Navy ships that have to go completely around these things. A lot of earth changes are constantly being taken place at this point in our in Earth history, and it's all because our transgressions that we should be getting, the penalty that we should be getting, is being put upon the earth, and that transgression is getting heavier and heavier and heavier upon the earth. I mean, if you want the science behind what causes the Earth to wobble to and fro, and the different things, go check out Bug's website. He's very he takes the science of it and he shows you how the ice, as you move, the ice itself weighs a lot more than just water, even though it floats in water. But anyway, you melt that ice, and that melted ice that was once, extending up out of off the island, like Greenland here, sticking up off the island a mile or whatever, however many thousands of feet, eventually it melts down. All that water's got to go somewhere. It goes into the oceans, and as all that extra weight is moved from Greenland down into the oceans, it pushes the ocean floor downward because there's extra weight there. Okay? Now, as these waters shift around, you're taking cold and hot water and you're intermixing them. But as you move this water around the planet, you create a wobble. The planet begins to do a wobble. Slight shifts in the pole. Not the magnetic pole, guys. I'm talking about the actual north and south pole of the planet that the planet spins around. Okay, it actually begins to wobble. I mean, look at this, guys. You got all this land, which is extremely heavy, and then you got all the water around the land. So you got water, land, mountains, and then you got these little oceans or seas and stuff in there, right? On the opposite side of the planet, all you got is water. So it's counterbalancing each other. So if all this water melts off and ends up over here, you've got more weight on this side of the planet than you do this side of the planet, and you've got a wobble. It's really simple stuff, guys. But again, it doesn't matter how all these things are being accomplished or what the science behind it is. It really doesn't matter. What matters is that you see that Father is fulfilling His word precisely and perfectly according to what He said He would do, or according to what the earth would end up doing because of our transgression that is heavy upon it. Okay? So anyways, guys, I love you guys with all my heart. I love each and every one of you. Even people that come along and make these negative, sarcastic, ignorant sometimes comments, I still love them. I really do. Most people say and do what they do because of what they were taught, not because they want to, simply because that's how they were taught, guys. And when you're coming into this world, you have a blank slate. Everything that you were taught. Some of it you learned by experience, but for the most part, most of your reality is all based on lies and deceptions, and very little of it is actually truth. And I've said it time and time again, and I got a couple personal messages on the last couple videos about science. I'm absolutely for science, guys, because Father created science. He's the one that put all the elements there. He's the one that allows the chemicals to change and all the processes to happen. He's the one that takes two gases, oxygen and hydrogen, and creates something drinkable, which is highly explosive. Hydrogen and oxygen are both highly explosive, but when they're combined, they're stable in their water, and we drink it, and it's nourishment to us. Okay, but anyways, guys, science is. I'm all absolutely for science. I am absolutely against teaching or putting into our books or doing any other form of teaching scientific theory, because theory, that's exactly what it is. It is a theory. It's a hypothesis. It's a possibility. It's not a fact. But they teach these things and they program the minds of men as though they are a fact. Okay? And like plate tectonic theory. Yeah, sure, you can see this little seam going down through the earth, but guess what? If you go back and if you believe what the Word says, that there was a flood some 4,400 years ago, basically, then this is where the fountains of the deep actually opened up. That's, look at it, guys. It's just stitching. That's all it is. Where He sealed it back up. And the planet's growing at the same time. And if you look at the scriptures tell you that the planet is founded upon waters and the floods of waters, and that the fountains of the deep busted open. And when they busted open, the water that was under the crust of the earth, because it's founded upon water, so under the crust of the earth is water. Yes, there's lava and oil and other things down there as well, but there is water down there under the earth. And guess what's happening right now on your planet right now? The earth is opening up. There's earthquakes happening all over the place, opening up to receive the water, to get the water back under the crust. Because there's going to be no more seas when the new earth and the new heaven finally get here. But I'm telling you that getting between where we are today and to that ultimate day when our Lord Messiah, our Master, our King, and our brother sits here and reigns and rules in righteousness with the scepter of righteousness, and is over every nation, tribe, tongue, and people. What a glorious day that's going to be. But to get there is a very black, dark time. Scary times. Not enjoyable or fun times, or times to look forward to. There's going to be a lot of death, destruction, a lot of things that are going to have to come to pass in the process of getting to the millennial reign. Okay guys, I'm going to get on off here. I love you. A crazy day today in just so many ways for me personally. I'm talking about just great day, but just crazy day. And anyway, I'm going to get on off here, guys. I love you. Heads up around the planet, around the Pacific, especially from Northern California down, and Alaska and Puerto Rico. You know, big heads up on you guys, just just in case. There seems to be a lot of tension going on right there. And I'll talk with you guys soon. Get in the Word, stay in the Word, and get the Word in you. And shalom to each and every one of you.